So, 3 women separately had hypnotic regressions, and agreed to answer Don's questions. On May 10, 1975, Don, together with Lawrence Allision, who was an accomplished hypnotist, sat down with a volunteer who was pursuing his master's in chemical engineering and, well, they proceeded to explore another world. This material was gathered in a chapter devoted to the concept of wanderers in Don and Carla's 1976 book, Secrets of the UFO. During the hypnotic regression, the man described a world where he was dressed in loose white clothes with a sash for a belt. It was short sleeves and honestly warm. He had a little boy and didn't see any mountains on this planet. There aren't any feelings for names there, and their speech seemed to be telepathic, since they just knew without words. It seemed to be a simple life. There was light at his books, so it's obviously mechanized, meaning it was equipped with machines. People weren't really speaking to each other. They all seemed to know each question. They knew what was going on, and well, there was singing. He was sitting on a stone or a bench and they'd be sitting down. He's explaining, but he's not talking to them, so, yeah, telepathic communication. This appeared to be the center of the community, kind of like a temple. It was a stone, limestone, but whiter. That's what it's made of. The dome appeared to be about 200 to 250 feet long and maybe 150 feet wide. It was a huge room. The glow was from the ceiling, and that was the light. There's a glow and a sort of darker, painted-like light. The room was bright and, honestly, doesn't appear to have any shadow in the room. There was singing off in the distance like a choir. The music was sparkling in the air. It sort of was like a praise to God. He grew up studying large books. In the morning there's a teacher, and in the afternoon or in late evening he studies. There's no exams. You just want to learn. It's like you can't learn enough. Nobody had individual homes. This big place is their home. This is one purpose. It's like a school or a teaching place to teach those that want to learn it in depth and those that come when they can. It's not a ruling type people. People don't have to go there. It's not a class system or anything. Meditation played a very large part in the lives of the inhabitants of this other world, or at least those on that planet. There were meditations alone, and there were daily group meditations with everyone. He didn't see himself there, in different states of consciousness. There are prayerful times in the morning and at night. You have them in your room, and then you have others before meals, before the morning meal, and then briefly before the evening meal when the food was brought. Then afterwards there's like a private sort of devotional, except that you're not, like in a mediation. There are other times the whole group gets together other than meals. The whole place is like a family. You don't feel that attached necessarily to one person, you feel attached to everybody. Another function of the clan was to open their temple from time to time to all of those on that planet who wished to come for spiritual inspiration. The description of this temple, well, it sounded like a very large heliport. Ships land at the heliport, the doors open, and the people come out of the spaceships, and people come into the temple. They're allowed to go on the grounds, as this is their place too, but they sort of come as a visitor to it. They may stay for about a day. There's a flat stone out in front of the heliport without roads coming to it. Then there's a huge spaceship pad for spaceships to just appear and land on the pad. They weren't zipping off or coming in across the horizon or anything. It's longer than it is wide, and it's not real thick compared to length and width dimension. It's like an oblong shape and just, appears and sets down on the pad. Here, the young man grew in wisdom, teaching, growing, beginning to teach fewer and more advanced students, and in time preparing to end the incarnation. This advanced planet appears to be an example of a 4th, 5th, or 6th density planet of the positive polarity. A being coming from a higher density planet such as this one described and then reincarnating into Earth to help would be the definition of a wanderer. He said he reincarnated back into the 3rd density Earth to help with the needs of people that are lost, and he felt as if that's what he needed to do. The research that Don and Carla did brought them across the knowledge of a highly unusual type of healing called psychic surgery. In 1976, at the age of 33, the work Carla did was to be her last. She had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, with several complications, with one being lupus. It was considered a miracle that she survived, as she lost approximately half of each kidney. Don and Carla's investigation into psychic surgery discovered it being a psychic form of healing. No psychic surgery patient has ever been lost because, well, nothing actually happens to the patient's physical body. It's a psychic form of healing and a faith healing. Don and Carla had spent time in the Philippines and Mexico examining the possibilities of this and witnessing it to actually be possible and successful healing. Important note: some of this material may be a little difficult to understand at first, as the wisdom gathered within is from Ra, a part of the Council of 9 Guardian Angels from the Galactic Federation. I did surprisingly discover that by the second or third time I read through it, it was processed and just clicked in my understanding 100% more. At first, some material within may appear to be a PhD level in metaphysics, but by the third time reading through, it felt elementary and extremely easy to understand and digest. So, keep on reading and don't give up. This material has been one of the biggest blessings in my life as it helped me reach enlightenment.